I'm going to show you today how to knit. This is what you need: a ball of wool and a pair of needles that match your yarn. I'm using Mrs. Moon's Plump in Marmalade and a pair of 10mm needles. So the first thing you need to do when you start knitting is make a slip knot, which is the first stitch of your knitting. The easiest way to do this is to have your tail of yarn going off this way. Make a circle with your right hand, so you've got it like that. I'll just show you there, so the yarn crosses over the top. Then the bit that's crossed needs to come underneath like that, so it looks a bit like a belt buckle. And then all you need to do is pick up that bit in the middle there and pull the left hand bit, and there's your slip knot. I'll just show you again. So make a circle, cross the yarn at the top, put the bit that's attached to the ball underneath and pick the line in the middle up, and that's your slip knot. Just pull it tight with the end of the yarn, and now all you need to do is put that on one of your needles, and as the name suggests, it will tighten up there, and now you've got your first stitch. Now the cast on method that I'm going to show you is the simplest cast on. It's called a knit cast on, and it's quite simple because it's very similar to knitting. So once you've got the cast on, you can basically knit. So with the stitch on the needle in your left hand and picking up your right hand needle, you want to put your right hand needle through this stitch from front to back so that the needles are crossing. And when you're knitting, these two needles should be touching all the time, and that way you won't get in a pickle losing stitches and things. Now keep the tail out of the way over here because we don't want that. We're only going to use the bit of the yarn that's attached to the ball. So with your needles crossed and with this tail, you bring your yarn under and round that bottom needle and keep hold of this bit of yarn with your right hand needle. Slide your right hand needle back all the way to the end, keep the tip touching all the time, and then push it up to the top, and that's your first stitch. And now all you need to do is put this stitch back on this needle, and the way to do that is just to make it nice and big and then just slip it back there like that. And now with the yarn that's attached to the ball, you can just pull that, not too tight, but just a little bit tighter. So now we've got two stitches. So the next one, you go into the stitch that you've just made, put your needle in so your needles are crossed, bring the yarn under and around that bottom needle, pull your right hand needle back, keeping it touching, and then as it's touching all the way, push it up there, and this is your new stitch. So make it a little bit longer and slot it back on that needle, and then just tighten it up. Okay, so I'll do a few more. So you put your needle in, yarn round, pull the needle back, keeping it touching, and slip the stitch back on. Go again, in, round, pull the stitch through and slide it on. And I say this is a knit cast on. There are lots of other cast ons that you'll probably want to learn once you've got your knitting going, but this one's absolutely fine for anything. Okay, so this is my cast on row, and I have cast on here 10 stitches. So here's the first one, which was the slip knot, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each loop is a stitch. And now we're going to knit.